Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, Greens Brothers. How is everybody tonight? Sorry, a bit later than normal. We'll see. Obviously, my kids have got COVID, so if I have to disappear during the stream, I have to disappear. Not much I can do about it. Let me know you can hear me okay. Robert, Dirty, Ed, Mike. Good evening, guys. I'm not. I think for the next couple of weeks, definitely until I've played a game with the new rules, I'm not scoring lists. I'm just going to talk over lists and say what I like and what I dislike. I think it's pointless me scoring the lists at the moment. I think that maybe the lists... Yeah, I mean, I plan on making a video on the new secondaries. And... I mean, the scoring is not always that useful anyway, right? Because lists sometimes score high, lists sometimes score low, then they win or lose tournaments. So the scoring might return. I think the more important thing is to look at what's strong and what's popular, and that's probably what we're gonna focus on this week because I've done no prep and I've got COVID. Whether or not we continue to do that, yes, we'll see. And hopefully that's my daughter coughing on the baby monitor you guys can hear, so like I said, I might have to disappear. Anyway, good evening. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. I've got 3 lists that I was going to look at tonight, and they're by Jake Dale, Eric Singer, and Juan Rangel. Rangel, I guess. I don't know how to say your name, Juan. I'm sorry. I don't even know if that's how I'm saying your first name correctly. Anyway, oh, James Cisner. Seems like everyone's getting COVID now, huh? My wife just actually did another test like an hour ago and she was still positive. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days. She's still testing positive. So, yeah, I'm doing fine enough, I think. I'm feeling a little bit tired out. I'm feeling a little bit like nasally. I'm sure you can hear it. But yeah, no, I'm fine. Alright, let's look at Jake's list to begin with. And this starts with 3 CP. Has anyone in chat actually played a few games yet with the new rules? How many CP are people starting on, and does it feel good? I guess is the big question. Alright, so Jake is going to run Dante as the Warlord to get him that +1 CP. He's going to run a Lieutenant in Reaver armor with Lord of Deceit. Okay. I mean, so he's going to redeploy 3 Phobos units before the game starts. And I guess he's going to possibly redeploy his 3 units of Incursors. He's got a couple of units of Last Fuse Eliminators in here as well. Okay. Lord of Deceit is a strange one to me, because if you do redeploy the units with Lord of Deceit, right, you can't redeploy them again in forward positions. You have to either bring them back to your deployment zone or put them into strategic reserve. I mean, I guess there can be some value in it. If you just the first 3 units you deploy are your incursors and just put them as far forward as you can. And then you Lord of Deceit maybe 1 or 2 of them away, I guess. I don't know, I just never really felt like Lord of Deceit was that useful for Blood Angels. Ed says he just picked up a knight, but he wouldn't have the CP for that anymore. I think you would, Ed, because they changed the super heavy ox detachment, right? Where was it mentioned in the book? I'm assuming it's mentioned in the muster army section, where you talk about CP. Da, 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 yeah. Someone tell me where does it cost? Where did they mention the super heavy ox detachment? Because I thought they said that detachment's free now, right? Okay, we got then a death company with 4 thunderhammers. I think this is a really good option now. I thought it was a good option before at 175 points, 165 points. It's almost like a no-brainer to include this. They'll trade with just about anything. It's just going to cost you 1 CP to do that, right? Oh, it's actually in the data slate. It's not in chapter approved. Okay, so yeah, you'll be able to include a knight, and it should essentially cost you no CP. Okay, we then have a Relic Contemptor with a Cyclone Missile Launcher, the Plasma Blaster Melee Chain Fist, and then a Twin Las Cannon. Seems kind of costly for what you get here. 200 points. I guess you get like 2d6 rocket, or not 2d6. I mean, you can get 2d6, or 2 crack missiles, and then 2 Las Cannon shots. For 200 points. Seems costly. I mean, I guess it's decent fire support, but yeah, it does seem costly. You get the Sanguinary Ancient with an Infernal Pistol and the Wrath of Baal, so we've kept that. Noticeably, I guess we've got no priest. Then have 3 7-man squads of Sanguinary Guard. Is this 7? Yeah, 3 7s. Each 7 has 4 Infernal Pistols. And everybody's just all swords. Holy shit. Okay. I mean, 4 Infernal Pistols is pretty nice. 4 Infernal Pistols is enough Infernal Pistols to make Weight of Fire do work for you, I guess. Harry says 2 CP seems okay for me. Even if I go first, I've got enough to Forlorn Fury my 5-man Death Company, and then I have enough for a 2 CP stratagem. I guess, yeah. Okay, and then the 2 Eliminator squads with Las Fusils. The Sergeant has Las Fusils, and I guess the regular guys have Las Fusils as well, and a Whirlwind in here as well. Alright, here's what I'm going to try next. After the show, Lieutenant. Okay, he's going to use the Dreadnought to buff the Eliminators. And the Dread has counter threat. Lord of Deceit seemed reasonable considering the amount of Phobos in here. And the Reaver Lieutenant is cheap to boot in some interesting strats. Would you be interested in what you think, either in the comments or video? Okay, Jake. Good evening, Awaken Sheep. Hello. Good evening, Juan. Miguel, hello. Usually the list name should be up here at the top, like in the text file. This would be quite small. It might be difficult to read on stream, but this one was submitted by Jake Dale just this week. I'm trying to decide if I think Lord of Deceit is worth it with 3 units of Phobos. I mean, I feel like I don't. I feel like you know what you're up against. So you either deploy your Phobos aggressively or you don't deploy them aggressively. Like you should know. You should know whether you need to do that or not, I guess. I mean, and if yeah, I don't know if Lord of Deceit is a great warlord trait. We don't often see it in competitive Blood Angels lists. The one Dreadnought on his own, I mean, he seems fine, I guess, in that he's got like a 36-inch range for the most part, so you could kind of hold him back. A couple of rockets and a couple of crap missiles and a couple of last cannon shots. It's okay. Is it 200 points okay? Probably not. Last Fuse Eliminators are coming out the woodwork. Obviously, they are good now for the 75 points they cost. I guess if you can give them some sort of rerolls. You know, you kind of contradicted yourself here, maybe. I suppose you said that the Dreadnought, the reason the Dreadnought's got the melee weapon is to protect the Eliminators. But at that point, would you not be better just running like double Volcon or something and just staying miles back? If the enemy really want to get on top of your Eliminators, I suppose a Dreadnought's Fist could help. GW need to start selling Thunderhammer separately. Yeah, they've been needing to sell the weapons separately for a while. Is it before or after you roll off that you get to redeploy? They FAQ'd Lord of Deceit. I've never ran it. I think it's before you roll off. After both players have deployed their army. Yeah, so it would be before you roll off. Don't know if it gives enough value. But I mean, I guess I'll let you mess with the opponent a little bit. I guess 1 CP to mess with the opponent, it might be worth it, I suppose. I mean, you already get the Death Company to mess with the opponent as well, so like, do you really need it? Ultramarine players seem to use redeploy all the time. Yeah, but I mean, we're different types of armies. I mean, I think with Blood Angels, it's kind of obvious what like you want to make charges. So the redeploy doesn't get you any closer to the enemy. In fact, it's always going to pull your units further away because you can't. When you use Lord of Deceit, you can't redeploy into concealed positions. Redeploy either puts you into strategic reserve or puts you back in your own deployment zone, right? So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. Dante as a warlord, I guess, is going to make a lot of sense. The Death Company makes sense. I actually kind of dig the 7-man Sanguinary Guard with all those Infernal Pistols. I'm going to be back in a second. Yeah, I think I like to keep Sanguinary Guard as cheap as they can. I already think they're quite expensive, but I guess if a 7-man squad went down 14 points, then essentially the way you could look at that is you basically get 3 free Infernal Pistols based on how much they used to cost. I mean, it's not bad. Obviously, I think there's a lot of turns where you won't be able to fire the Infernal Pistols because you have nothing in range. But, yeah, I mean, 12 Infernal Pistols, 6 Las Fusils. You get another Infernal Pistol there on Dante's, I guess. So 14 Infernal Pistols, 4 Thunderhammers, 6 Las Fusils. You got a ton of 3 damage stuff in this list. I don't love the Lieutenant, honestly. I don't really play Reaver characters, period. Lieutenant and Reaver armor. I don't think there's anything exciting about him, is there? Gets -2 from leadership of enemies within 3. He has a combat knife, which is kind of terrible. I guess the one thing he's got going for him is he's letting core within 6 reroll ones. I think I would rather I'd rather run a lieutenant with a jump back, honestly. Awoken Sheep prefers permanent buffs on their warlord as opposed to a one-shot thing. Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons that the warlord traits usually give a lot of value. 20 Sanguinary Guard, Sanguinary Priest, Ancient, and Dante. I mean, that many Sanguinary Guard at the moment is going to be pretty good. He's got a strat that can turn off OBSEC. Shows how little I use Reavers. I think I remember. Terror Troops, right? It's 2 CP though. I mean, would you not be better just putting Visage of Death on another character and just have OBSEC off all the time? It's the same 3 inches. Yeah, I mean it's stupid that it's 2 CP. You'd be better just not ever playing for the stratagem and just giving one of your characters Visage of Death, right? I mean, yeah, you can cancel enemy action if you 2d6 over their leadership, but I think a more reliable way of cancelling enemy actions is just kill the enemies. Yeah, I don't rate the Reaver Lieutenant at all. I really 75 points. I'd rather just take a firstborn Lieutenant and give him a jump pack. How many points would he be? 95 points. I think the Lieutenant reroll ones around on like Sanguinary Guard or something is decent. I don't know. I think I would never pay 2 CP. I mean, I guess if you're desperate to remove OBSEC, but at that point we have a better relic in Visage of Death. Just give them it. Chief Sanguinary Priest for double chalice. +2 move, hitting on 2s, 100 attacks, AP -4 on turn 1 if it gets the charge. I mean, I think you can do the double chalice without being the Chief Sanguinary Priest, you know that? But typically you won't make multiple turn 1 charges as a Blood Angels player. I mean, if you get 2, you should be pretty happy with that, I think. Most people are smart won't let you get that many charges. You'd rather take a Death Company Lieutenant? I don't know what the Death Company Lieutenant gives you. The one-off access to Death Visions? Okay, I mean, in general on the list, the Whirlwind and the Eliminators seem good. The 3 squads of Sanguinary Guard seem good. Obviously combined with the Ancient and Dante is good. The Lieutenant and Reaver armor, I think, is a duff. 3 squads of incursors is fine. This relic contemptor, I think you're probably better running it with a Volkite, cyclone missile launcher, plasma blaster, melee weapon, and a Volkite. I tried to run a lieutenant before, in not too distant future. I didn't like it. We don't see any lieutenants in competitive lists, and I think that probably says enough for it. The twin las cannons, again, we don't see them in competitive lists. I think you're probably just better running the Volkite. Probably even drop the plasma blaster at that point. Just have a Stormbolt or something and save yourself like 15 points. The 15 points you save on this by giving it a Vulcan, probably save like one of these Infernal Pistols as well. You can actually make this Lieutenant a decent, better second character. Keep the Lieutenant if you want, but give him a jump pack. Because the strength of the Lieutenant is the core reroll 1s to wound, which is really good with Sanguinary Guard. Because they usually get +1 to wound, so reroll 1s on their wounds really actually does make a big difference. But I think not having the mobility, having the Reaver armor, having the Lord of Deceit, I just put Visage of Death on a jump pack Lieutenant. Good evening, Highland Phoenix. How you doing? I think that would be better. I think I'd possibly also have one squad of Eliminators, have the Sergeant with the carbine for the double move. I think it just gives you a bit more flexibility. I do get that last Fusiliers are very attractive right now, but I think giving up one of... Because I was thinking about doing this myself. I was thinking, like, should I just be running squads of full last Fusiliers? But I thought probably do, like, one squad that can remain quite static and one squad that can move around a little bit. Have I had any Iron Brew? No, I haven't had any fizzy juice, actually, since I got COVID. I've been feeling kind of sick. And some people lost their sense of smell with COVID. I've been smelling things that I like the smell of have been making me feel kind of sick. So, yeah, no Iron Brew, I'm afraid. Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's my opinion on this list. Let's move on. Next up, we've got Eric's list. Okay. Here's his current list. The point is to capitalize on relentless assault and death from above. I've looked at death from above. I'm not seeing why people think it's brilliant. Because my thought is, like, to make death from above good, you have to start a bunch of units off the battlefield, right? And, like, what are you... And then those units that start off the battlefield need to be killing the opponents. So, I don't like starting my Sanguinary Guard off the battlefield. I think they're stronger on the field. But a bunch of people have been excited by Death from Above. I guess we'll get into it. Oh, Reziel's not impressed by Death from Above as well. Alright, why? I mean, the reason I like to start my Sanguinary Guard on the battlefield is because they have very good movement. They can heroically intervene, out of buildings and obscuring positions and stuff like that. And they're a threat. And no one's bringing in multiple units of Inceptors. Let's see what he's got. So, past that, I can also pick up Retrieve Natman data if the matchup doesn't have an easy third pick. Basically, Inceptors and 1 or 2 Death Company units and 1 or 2 Sanguinary Guards go into reserve, depending on how fast the opponent can threaten my DZ. Keeping enough to be a threat myself and prevent being zoned or tabled. Turn 2 Inceptors, pick up a kill with +1 to hit strat and captain rerolls, and the Sanguinary Guard or Death Company get them down for positioning, so I don't have to chance an 8-inch charge. Yeah, okay, so basically what you're saying there is the Sanguinary Guard can't be active in turn 1. They can't be active in turn 2 because you're just bringing them down somewhere in turn 2 to position, so you can only have them in active in turn 3. And I think I don't like that. You know, like, sometimes you need your Sanguinary Guard on the board in turn 2. You know, what if the enemy's got a really aggressive list and they're pressuring you really hard, and you're like, well, I can't really deal with it this turn because my best units are off the table just because I'm trying to score some extra points. I then pick up at least one unit a turn in pylons and consolidate into opponents to get relentless. I can also bounce inceptors back up to get additional points by killing when they come in. I think Death from Above seems, from a lack of better wording on it, cutesy. You know, like, I don't like to take stuff that's like, yeah, I don't know how you better word it than cute. Like, you're requiring a lot of things to go. You're giving up a lot for like some superficial points. I don't think Death from Above is that strong. I guess that people are more excited about it, but like in my lists recently, and I deep strike a lot more than other people at tournament play because I had Assault Intercessors, Terminators, and a Landspeeder Storm. Sorry, just a regular Landspeeder in every game. A lot of people do less than that. Like, a lot of people might deep strike one unit. So if you're deep striking like one unit, then how are you getting good points out of Death from Above? You're having to keep a bunch of your power off the map. You're having to give up potentially like flanking movements and pressure, and yeah, I just don't like it. I mean, don't mind Relentless Assault for sure. But beyond that, I'm not a fan of Death from Above. Building a list around deep strike charges is not competitive, says Rezio. Yeah, I mean, even with the +1 and a reroll, I don't like trying to win games on a deep strike charge. I like the element of surprise, but I wouldn't take the secondary. Yeah, I just don't think it's a great secondary. All right, let's have a look at the list. So it's a Vanguard detachment to start with. We've got Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack. We'll get Death Company with 4 Thunderhammers, Death Company with 4 Thunderhammers, Death Company with 4 Thunderhammers. Okay. We've got Sanguinary Guard with 7 swords. 7 swords and 7 swords. Oh, she'd put the points costs on this. I can do it. 165, 165, 165. 7 swords is 210. 210. 210. So it's that so far 630 plus 330. Okay, about 1120. We got Dante. We got Incursors with the mine. I think the mine is pointless on Incursors. Like, Incursors are an offensive unit, really. If the enemy charges you and you do 1 or 2 mortal wounds to them, like whoop-de-doo, I think it's just a waste of 10 points. We got the Ancient with Rites of War and the Wrath of Baal. Seems like a lot of people are taking this Ancient with Rites of War and Wrath of Baal now. And then 2 squads of plasma inceptors, which is we don't see plasma inceptors period these days. Okay, and then that's the rest of the points. Okay. I mean, yeah, I suppose he has enough stuff where he could put down Death from Above. Not in a great shape for NAC1 data with this list, though, in that, like, you don't want to be doing NAC1 data with your Sanguinary Guard. Can I submit my list live? Probably not, because there's not going to be enough room in the chat box. Awoken Sheep. You can ping me on Discord, though. Behind enemy lines is less risky than engaging on fronts, yes, but it also typically scores. On average, I guess it probably scores less because you're playing risk against rewards. Behind enemy lines is score 2 victory points if 1 unit from your army is within the opponent's deployment. Score 4 if it's 2. I think with this many units, Relentless Assault seems fine. Deep Strike charges can be outright negated as well. Yeah, I mean, so you're basically going to drop a squad of Death Company and a squad of Sanguinary Guard, one or two, try and drop them into concealed positions to make a turn 3 charge. And in turn 2, you're going to try and pick up some stuff with your Inceptors. So basically, you're going to have the Inceptors off the table. So that's 360 points. Probably need like two squads of Sanguinary Guard off the table. So that's another 420. So you've got 420 plus 360 is 780. And then you've got a squad of Death Company. So like half your army's off the table. Which I guess in some bat matchups can work. I just feel like you're going to be super light on primaries and stuff in turn 1 and 2 because of it. And the opponent's not going to feel like you need really pressure from you either, because you don't have enough units to pressure with. I mean, the units he's picked, though, I mean, 3 squads of Death Company with hammers. Before, I would have said they're overcosted, but now I think they're really competitive, I guess. 3 squads of Sanguinary Guard with all the swords. I mean, these are all good choices. The Ancient and Dante, good choice. The Incursor's a good choice. The Priest, the Jump Pack is a fine choice. It kind of feels like he should have maybe had Visage of Death on this Priest, but I mean, he does have Rites of War, so maybe that's not a problem. We just don't see Plasma Inceptors anymore. Maybe we see them for other armies, but we really don't see them for Blood Angels these days. I can't remember the last time I saw a winning list that had Plasma Inceptors in the list. They sort of died away when a lot of like -1 damage enemies were around, like Custodes and Death Guard, and to a certain extent some of the Elder stuff, and maybe Dreadnoughts for Marines. You know, because Inceptors into Dreadnoughts is pretty weak as well, but they never really got a comeback ever since they went up to 60 points a model. They're very expensive, 60 points a model. I mean, if you think about them compared to like a Centurion, they're 5 points more expensive than a Centurion. They have 1 less wound, 1 less save. They are Gravis, I suppose, and they are they can be transhuman, but not huge. I have 2 squads of Inceptors. I actually ran the Bolter ones at a tournament last year. And I have the Plasma ones. But I don't think I would run them at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably rather do a drop pod, you're right. A drop pod with a Devastator squad. If you're going to do Death from Above, I'd do a drop pod with Devastator squad with multi-meltas and Gravs. I think that would be a better option. Having like 4 multi-meltas and a Sherb would definitely let you get some killing done over the Inceptors, in my opinion. I'm just watching my daughter roll around in bed. 1 second, I might have to go AFK again. Might be okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen. Definitely haven't seen Plasma. Do you know what? Colin ran Plasma Inceptors into me in his Ultramarines list. I think he ran like a big squad, like a 5-man squad, or maybe I think he ran 2 squads or something. And I was actually quite glad to see them because I was like, wow, they're really not that good anymore. Fast attack. Inceptors. So they're -3. So if you're in cover, they're -2. With Armor of Contempt, they become -1. So I mean, like Sanguinary Guard in cover will save against Inceptors on 3s. Death Company will save on 4s, but then they can feel no pain some of the damage. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Inceptors anymore. Yeah, they're fine against non-Armor of Contempt units, but I think there's too many things that counter them. There's too much -1 damage things that they can. If you run these into Death Guard, they're fucking terrible. Not that Death Guard are super competitive at the moment anyway, but like they just neuter this so hard. I guess Custodes is also an army where these are going to kind of be useless into. And you also have to worry about if you're firing overcharged. The odds say, because you get 18 shots, give or take. So the odds say, yeah, I remember doing the math on this. Every time you fire a squad of Inceptors on high power, even if you reroll ones, it's a 50-50 chance you kill one of your own guys. So if you're willing to, like, it's 60 points a model, it's a 50-50 chance on high power that you kill one guy. It's just not good. It's just not good. Wasn't there a list on the channel that had a 3 hit? Yeah, there was. Colin came on the channel with a 5-man squad of Inceptors as Ultramarines, and I think he paid some CP when they landed to let them do like a bunch of extra shots and a bunch of rerolls, and like the 300 point blob killed like a dreadnought that cost like 170 points, and then I just charge and mop up the whole squad, you know? If it was a mortal wound, I could maybe be more on board with Inceptors, but because it kills their own guys, I think it's just terrible. They're good for Dark Angels, and even then they're just okay. What makes them good for Dark Angels? Because if they... Yeah, I actually don't know what makes them good. What makes them good for Dark Angels? Yeah, I mean, you could run 5 Bolter Inceptors for 200 points. They would be better into armories like Eldar, Drukhari, Sisters, probably, yeah. I think I was running Inceptors, I'd run Bolter. Dark Angels can make them -3 damage. Okay, yeah, so maybe they're okay. But yeah, for Blood Angels, I don't think they're great. I don't like Death from Above. Someone's going to win a tournament running Death from Above every game, but I don't like it. I think you neuter yourself by trying to be like, oh well, I need to start this unit off the board. I think if you run a drop pod with multi-meltas, then you can maybe do Death from Above, because you get something to get you that turn 1 kill. Then you can back it up with, I don't know, 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard and 1 Death Company or something coming in turn 2 and turn 3, and you can start with like 500-600 points off the board. Starting with 1,000 points off the board, I think makes your army really weak. Yeah, the I honestly think Plasma should just be changed to do a mortal wound to yourself. I think it's dumb that they kill the model. It's not balanced killing a 60-point model. I mean, to kill this model, these guys would need to be doing double damage for me to even consider them. Do you think it won't be FAQ to use drop pods to score Death from Above? Yeah, I don't think they'll change that. you want to use a drop pod, you can. I don't see any reason you wouldn't be able to. I'm trying to drop pod with 5 Devastators with multi-maltas. Make sure you include the Cherub Ridgecraft, but I think that's good. I think it would be fine. Okay. Alright, Juan. No idea how you say your name. I assume the J's silent and your name is Mexican, but I'm terrible at accents and pronunciation, so I'm sorry. Okay, after seeing yesterday's most people list, I thought my list was very in line with what other people are going to try and play, so I started exploring more of the new changes. I thought that Gilly was pretty cool at 300 points. Oh, interesting. You can include Gilliman because... Why? Because he shares a keyword like Adeptus Astartes? We can't use the reroll hits and wounds of Ultramarines, but the Captain Aura for all units includes non-core is okay, and 3+ Invan, and Armor of Contempt. Plus his revive, he's kind of annoying to shift. The thing I like the most is +3 CP, which I've used to play for a Vanguard and just ignore troops. Instead I took an extra 6-man Death Company, a 6 Assault Squad to take objectives, do actions. Everything else is very standard. I hope you guys like it. Okay, so it's a Ultramarines detachment, but then you've taken Blood Angels. You're gonna lose Savage Echoes because of this, right? Because you can't get your Super Doctrine. No, sorry, you're not gonna lose Savage Echoes. You're gonna lose Red Thirst though, right? So you're not gonna get your +1 to charges. And your +1 to wound. Am I correct there? I never souped like this. So before they changed all the souping rules, someone had made a list with Gilliman, because yes, his rerolls. So within 12, you get to advance and charge +1. You can reroll morale tests. And you can get 3 CP, sure. And you can reroll hits of 1 by Imperium units within 12. Yeah, they did change something here that you can't mix. Yeah, it's like page 4 in chapter approved. All units in the player's army that have a selectable faction keyword. This means, for example, that all units with the chapter keyword in the player's army must be from the same chapter. So this isn't a valid list for competitive play anymore. Like, you can't do this even if you wanted to do it. But I mean, I guess you could. So you just need to lose Gilliman or replace him with Dante or something. And then replace use the other points for like a squad of incursors. What else you got in here though? You've got the Whirlwind, you got the Last Fusils, you got a Land Speeder, you got that 6-man assault squad with jump packs that people are getting excited about. 2 7-man Sanguinary Guards, Leviathan, which seems fine, the Ancient, and then a Death Company with hammers, a Death Company without. I did say that I thought Astrath and Mephiston are both going to be a bit more selectable, I think. And I guess the reason they're going to be more selectable is where did you put this list of Awoken Sheep? Did you message it to me or did you put it somewhere else? I did think they're going to be more selectable just because essentially neither of them desperately need warlord traits or command points spent on them for warlord traits and stuff. Abaddon would kill Guilliman in a single round of combat. Well, maybe until Guilliman stands back up and then fights him again. You can do this. Adeptus Astartes keyword is shared, but you lose Devastator, Tactical Assault Doctrines, and Blood Angels Doctrines. Yeah, it's not great, is it? I mean, they. And is your name on Discord Punisher? But yeah, no, I think you can't do it on page 4 because they pretty much got rid of this because it basically says you have to pick. You have to pick a chapter. You have to pick one, and then the Ultramarines part becomes defuncto or whatever. I mean, you could just run this with Dante and a squad of Incursors. That would be fine, I think. Is an assault squad with no obsec at 3 points more than a squad of Incursors that much better than a squad of Incursors, I guess. In that the Incursors can redeploy and they can hide. They have concealed positions. I don't dislike this assault squad. I just don't know if I think my opinion right now is you're going to want to run a battalion because you're going to want the CP from the battalion, right? Or the CP refund from running the battalion. And at that point, you're stuck with 3 units of troops. So you're just going to run 2 squads of Incursors and 1 squad of whatever else you think is cheap. And your squad of Incursors are going to, like, Incursors are action monkeys. Like, yeah, they can do a little bit of combat, but for the most part, you want your Incursors to survive. You want them to be action monkeys. Have another think, Juan, and resubmit a list for me, because if this one isn't valid, then there's not much point going over it. Alright, let's have a quick look at Awoken Sheep's list, though. Yeah, it used to be valid on Marines, but I guess it's not anymore. Alright, so here's a battalion detachment for 3 CP. Angel's Ascendant and Relic of the Chapter. Dante, who has got Heroic Bearing as the Warlord trait. I think have you made sure to take your 1 CP off for having this, because it costs you 1 CP to include this, right? We then have a priest with Rites of War and Visage of Death, so that would cost, yeah, another 1 CP. Assault, and Incursors. I mean, that's fine, but I prefer double Incursor. The Thunderhammer Marines, the Infernal Pistol, Soul Ward, and Wrath of Baal. Yeah, you've not. Hold on. This would be 2 extra relics, dude. Wrath of Baal and Visage of Death. And then Yep, and then these are like 9-man squads of Sangre Guard. They're too big. You never need a 9-man squad of Sangre Guard. Especially not with 5 Infernal Pistols. You're just asking to give away points here. Battlescribe does the math. I mean, I guess Battlescribe's not been updated, so it's 2 extra relics. It's 2 heroes of the chapter, so that's -4. Warlord trait here is -5. Dante is +1, so we get 2 CP at the moment, I think. 2 assault squads with double melta guns, and then the Quake bolts. All right, so you're actually this list is actually starting on 1 CP. Hey Michael, hi from Bahrain. How you doing? Okay, so you got your Quake bolt las fusel eliminators. You got 2 assault squads with some melta guns. You got 3 large Sanguinary Guard squads. The Death Company in the Ancient and Cursors. Okay, I mean, I like most of this. What I don't like is these squads of Sanguinary Guard. They're just too darn big. I don't think you ever need to go over 7. If 7 Sanguinary Guard won't kill the opponent, then you need to have something else that can back them up. Having a 9, my experience, because I've ran tournaments where I've gone for 8-man Sanguinary Guards, and I've gone for 9. Don't think I've ever run a 9 at a tournament. But I remember one of my lists thinking to myself, like, I need to just make my squad of Sanguinary Guard bigger. And all that, the same thing happens. You kill an enemy unit, you can't consolidate into cover, so you have multiple Sanguinary Guard in the open, and then they just get killed. Doesn't matter how many of them there are in the open. The second Sanguinary Guard are in the open, the opponent will throw everything that they have at them because they know how good they are, and they'll kill them. So if you've got a 9-man or a 7-man, both units will jump in and kill something. I argue the 7-man will do a lot of killing anyway, right? Because it's like 35 attacks, hitting on 2s, potentially re-rolling, wounding on like 3s, whatever. You force them to make like 25 2 damage saves. Usually they're saving on like a bad invulnerable save. So they're killing anything. They're even killing like knights and stuff from full health. Maybe if they have -1 damage, a knight can survive or something. But then in that point, you need to know that, and you need to charge with two squads or units, or get a second unit in there. You'll just end up, yeah. Just to me, it feels like you'll just end up losing. You're just giving away 60 or 70 points for free that you could spend elsewhere, and that's what I would do. I would take like that's 70 points. That's 70 points. That's 30 points. So that's like 170 points. 175 points. Sorry. Yeah, and you actually have an elite slot here as well, because you've just got 5 elites. So that's literally a whole other Death Company with Thunderhammers. And what would you lose? You lose 1 Sanguinary Guard here, and you still have 3 times 7. If we look at the top tournament list recently, it's always 3 times 7. Yeah, no, the family are doing okay. Thanks for asking. I think another 24 hours, 48 hours, we should mostly be over COVID. Is it worth trading some of the Sanguinary Guard for more Death Company? Yeah, 100%, Harry. I mean, I've done it myself. I've thought to myself, like, my Sanguinary Guard die too often. That's what I'll do, is I'll make the squads bigger, and the same thing happens. They still die. They still overkill most of the time what they go and kill, and then they die in the open, because with 7 of them, you'll still not be able to get them. If you fight an opponent you'll never be able to hide all 7 of them into a building after you kill a unit. You're gonna leave 1 or 2 of them out, and then they'll be able to shoot everything at them. 777 is lucky numbers in Asia. Yeah, no, it's just the perfect number. If you're only running 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard, maybe I could get on board with going higher than 7 because you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket. But if you're running 3, no, 3 sevens is absolutely fine. I'd put the points. I'd have the points elsewhere so you can get value out of them. I'm okay with the Infernal Pistol spam now, I guess, with them being cheaper. Some people are going to spam a few more Infernal Pistols. I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay with the assault units as well. I don't think they're great, but I guess they're okay. I might have actually made one of them not have as many melta guns and make it a 6-man, so you're better at. Oh, do you know what? Because you don't have if you only got 1 squad of incursors, I probably would actually lose the melta guns out one of the squads and make it 6-man, so you have another pretty reliable action monkey. 4 Thunderhammers and 2 Power Swords. Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds good as well. Scoops. 4 Hammers is really tasty, but yeah, 3 and... I think it's just the Chainsword guys are a lot less valuable now. You could always do something like 3 Thunderhammers, 1 Power Sword, and a couple of Infernal Pistols. I think Infernal Pistols are okay in the Death Company as well. Couple of pop shots. Typically, you're going to give them re-rolls on the turn that they fall on Fury, right? So, and I actually know someone that used to swear by running Death Company with. He didn't want to run Thunderhammers at all. He just ran everybody with a Infernal Pistol and everybody with a Power Fist. It's the same amount of points. So, massive meltas for transports and knights. Assault squad with 2 melta, 14-inch move, and sergeant with 2 lightning claws for 100 points is amazing. Amazing. I mean, they only get 1 attack. I guess the sergeant gets 2. 2 melta gun shots, arguably 1 hits 50-50 if it wounds. Or arguably out the 2 shots, maybe you get 1 wound through, I guess. Doesn't sound that amazing, you know, the opponent just has 1 save to make. From 100-point squad, they have 1 save to make. Maybe it's a 50-50 chance that they just save it and it does nothing. I mean, that's the danger of running like 1 Infernal Pistol. That's what I usually find when... The thing I don't like around running multiple Infernal Pistols is I find... Typically my squad has like 1 Infernal Pistol in it, and quite often when you go and measure 6 inches, you'll find that like, okay, it'll be like 50-50 if the Infernal Pistol's out of range. Even with the 14-inch move, right? So, that many Infernal Pistols, I feel like half the game. I feel like if you get to fire all your Infernal Pistols once per game, you're probably doing pretty well. Infernal Pistols aren't bad. I guess the points drop on the Sanguinary Guard means that you can run a few sort of similar to what they were before. Assault squads are looking good now with Armor of Contempt. I mean, they're looking better. I just don't see them as a damaging unit, right? I mean, I guess maybe for 100 points. I mean, realistically, what do you get? You get, if you charge an enemy, you get 4 lightning claw attacks. You get like 6 chainsword attacks. Maybe 8. I don't know, nothing. I'm gonna have to play against someone that's running in assault squads. For me, they're a utility unit. It's it's a couple of melta guns. If you think of an attack bike, like you can put an attack bike in reserve for 60 points. When you bring that attack bike in from the edge of the board, sort of like 12 inches or 24 inches away from the enemy, you've got two multi-melta shots. And you're hitting on threes. Usually, you maybe hit with one, miss with one. You're wounding on twos or threes. So it's a 50-50 if you wound, and then it's a 50-50 really if they fail to save. So, like, an assault squad is just the same as that, backed up with a tiny little bit of melee. And if you do go into melee, then you're stuck in that you're not going to get to shoot your melta guns next turn, potentially. The sergeant gets 5 attacks. Okay. With the double lightning claw. Okay. I mean, lightning claws are a lot worse though, right? Minus -1 into armor contempt enemies. You can use wings of fire on them. It feels like a reach for me. I guess we'll have to see if someone starts winning a tournament with assault squad melta guns. I mean, I think the way I would, if I had to run assault squads, I think I would run them with flamers because I think that like then they could at least clear space so my other units can like get in. I don't necessarily think that like if I just want a couple of melta shots at 12 inches, I'd just take an attack bike. And I can reserve my attack bike. I can actually reserve 3 attack bikes for less than 1 CP, right? Because they're just power level 2, I think, attack bikes. Yeah, I'm sure Land Speeder's power level 3, so attack bikes are like power level 2. Yeah, power level 2. So I mean, if you want to 200 points on assault marines or 3 attack bikes for 180. I mean, arguably the attack bikes have more. They move further than these guys. Their weapons have double the range. Drop the assault squads into 2 opposing quarters behind cover or free objectives. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to go relentless assault, then sure, assault squads can do something. I don't think they have enough power to like. They don't really have a lot of killing power. With flamers, they might be able to kill a bit more chaff. But melta guns. I mean, melta guns, you're kind of hoping, right? Like that's why you spend 5 points on one infernal pistol and a sanguinary guard. You're just hoping. You're betting on like, well, there's a 50-50 chance you can do some damage, and what realistically happens is like 1 in every 3 or 4 games you do 8 damage with an infernal pistol, and all other times you whiff it. So I feel like that's going to be the same with the melta gun. You take that to a tournament. In 4 games, it's going to do nothing, and then in 1 game, you're going to do 8 damage with a melta gun. I guess if you think 100 points is worth 8 damage with a melta gun every 3 or 4 games, then that's up to you. But I don't know if it's a squad that I would invest. Yeah, they're cheaper, but like, yeah, not a fan. How about 10 Death Company in 1 squad? The reason I don't like 10 Death Company in one squad is it makes Forlorn Fury very expensive, right? Viscerator isn't good, I guess, because the -1 to hit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got a bunch of old jump marines. I guess I can paint some up and run an assault squad, but I don't think I don't see anything in here that makes me think like, God, I really want assault squads. There's too few attacks on assault marines. It's horrible. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that scares me with them is they got no attacks basically. And Lightning Claws got a lot worse. Into Armor of Contempt enemies, Lightning Claws do very, very little now. Like, they just feel... Well, I mean, think of it when a Chainsword used to be -1 into a Space Marine, Chainswords killed nothing, right? You could realistically charge an opponent with, like, a squad of Assault Intercessors and kill, like, one model. So that's how Lightning Claws feel now, because they're just -1. Yeah, I suppose they become -2 once you hit turn 3, but that's pretty deep into the game. Assault squads of melta bombs. Yeah, I think in this list I would try and get the 6th. I would try and get a 6th elite choice in here. And I think to do that, you're gonna have to lose one of the assault squads. I also think assault intercessors are kind of trash. They've obviously got worse because of, again, Armor of Contempt, and obviously any unit that has to move across the board isn't great. And cursors to me feel like just much better. 125 points gets you 5 Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Chainswords. I mean, I prefer that. That gives you 2 threats to Forlorn Fury. I mean, 5 Infernal Pistols and the Death Company for 125 points, or 100 points for this. I'm on board with the Death Company. I mean, the Death Company get, what, 3 attacks base with the Chainswords? No. You get 4 attacks base with the Chainswords. So you get 30 Chainsword attacks and 5 Infernal Pistols. Or you get like a couple of Melta Guns, 5 Lightning Claws, and then like 6 Chainswords. Yeah, the Death Company can't do actions. Yeah, I mean, the only... If you're going to bring an assault squad, it's to be a fast-moving action monkey squad, I think. I think the fact that you can put flamers or melta guns on these and people have latched onto it as, hey, it's cheap, so it should be good. Cheap doesn't always mean good. Yeah, another reason to keep the Death Company small is their leadership is a problem, right? I think it's kind of batshit that they have leadership 7, but that is a problem for 10-man squads for sure. I think the 10-man Death Company squad is just going to be too costly in CP now. You know, it's 2 CP if you Forlorn Fury, it's 2 CP if you Refusal to Die, it's 2 CP if you want to auto pass morale. It's too much. You can't. It's not an option anymore. I mean, I didn't like it anyway, but it's even less of an option now. Dante and the Banner help with leadership. Yeah, I mean, I guess they do. I also don't love how your list starts with 1 CP. I wouldn't be starting a game with 1 CP. I probably wouldn't start with less than 3 because I'd want 1 for Forlorn Fury. I'd want 2 for counter offensive, and then I'd probably want 1 for like Angel Sacrifice or something like that. So I don't know if I would start. I don't think I would ever try and start a game on less than 3, maybe 2. You get 1 in the beginning of the first turn, I guess. So maybe 2, but definitely not 1. Okay. Quake bolts is counted, or did I? Is this starting with 2? Is it? Quake bolts is 1, 2 in this character, 2 in this character, 1 on Dante. So you spent 6, and you get 1 back. So you should have started with 7, but you spent 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 1. I think which is, I don't love starting on 1 CP. I really don't. I don't know how many characters we can really afford now that have multiple things on them. Like the Ancient with Wrath of Baal and like Rites of War is brilliant. I guess if you do that, like, and you take Dante, so you get 1 back, so you're starting on 5. It's tough, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like Blood Angels have been. They've. I don't know. I mean, I think they've just. I guess I'm loath to say that we're ignored. I guess like we haven't had anything specific for us. That Phobos detachment of Marines really never took off, did it? What a bad idea that was. Okay, I mean this list is fine, I guess. Lose some of your lose a bunch of your Sanguinary Guard. Yeah, don't run squads bigger than 7. If you want to do assault squads, I'd say definitely try 1 as an action monkey. Try the second squad of incursors. Cut something so you've got another CP to start the game with. And then probably, if you can, get that second squad of Death Company. I actually like what who suggested it. Was it Peter? No, Harry said Death Company with 5 Infernal Pistols. You could always just go a Death Company with 5 Power Swords. I think that'd be good as well. Ball Predators minus 10 points. I mean, yeah, okay, Smithy, you're right. They took a completely crap tank and they took 10 points off of it. And it's just going to be a completely crap tank that's 10 points cheaper. I think snatching objectives quickly with assault squads, forlorn the Death Company up to smash the bad guy would free up others to lead the frontal assault. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Assault squads aren't OBSEC though, so they're only grabbing uncontested objectives. Unless you're running your Sanguinary Ancient off with assault squad, I guess. But I mean, that's really not how you would end up playing them, right? That's why I just think you're better off having a couple of squads of incursors, because then you can just conceal position where you need to be to flip the objectives. Yeah, okay. I'm going to leave it there. I think I could debate assault squads with you guys all night. I don't think they're good. I could be wrong. We'll maybe see some winning tournament lists. I have another tournament in like 10 weeks' time, and I can guarantee you I'm not going to run assault squads to it. You'd be baiting with assault squad to pounce with Sanguinary Guard. I mean, maybe you could bait them. You could shift underpowered or chaff squads, though. Yeah, I mean, if you put flamers, Joe, on the assault squad, then I'm kind of. I don't hate them if they have a couple of flamers on them. They can take flamers, right? It's like 2 people can have flamers. 1 flamer? Yeah, 2 of them can have flamers. I mean, like, if you take them with flamers and you're just going to kill chaff units and you're going to perform actions, then I'm okay. I think the thing I hate is the double meltagun. The flamers are free as well. I didn't realize that. Yeah, then you definitely want flamers. Fuck it. With flamers, there's enough. Like, if we want meltaguns, just use infernal pistols. Vanguard Tactics guy won with assault squads before the points drops. Did he win? I thought he did really well. I didn't realize he'd actually won the tournament, though. You're talking about Steven, right? Ben has been contemplating a 9-man Death Company squad with Icon of the Angel Chaplain and a drop pod for Fury or Death from Above potential turn 1. He took 3rd on a hard strat misplay. Okay, yeah, he didn't. So, and how many did you run? Multiple assault squads, or was it just one? 2 meltagun assaults. Yeah, but oh, 10 points for a 50-50 meltagun wound on a 50-50 save is not. It's not. It's not. It doesn't do it for me. I think if you want to do a drop pod for turn 1, you might be better, like, because you're going to have to put a character in there, right? And then you're going to have to put Death Company in there. I think it might be better doing like a character, a 7-man Death Company, and 2 company veterans. And the reason that I would run 2 company veterans in there, and company veterans are not, they're pretty cheap actually, because you can run them for 20 points per model, and you can go double chainsword on them. So you can get like 6 attacks on the sergeant, on 5 on the other guy of the squad. The reason to do the company veterans is the company veterans could, because the way you need to do the charge, right? So you charge with your Death Company first because they're next to the character. And I guess what you'd be hoping to do, because what's probably going to happen is like your Death Company make your charge and then your character fails to charge. So the character's next to the drop pod and he gets killed and he gets picked off. You have a couple of company veterans. They can at least protect him from shooting, make it a little bit harder for the enemies to kill him, and because they've got the bodyguard rule. And if you are going for like relentless assault, then the company veterans is it's another model. So basically, if you can put the drop pod in the enemy deployment zone, then you basically can have 4 units in their deployment zone from turn 1. So it's going to be super easy for you to start racking up really good relentless assault points. I mean, it's going to be not bad with the 3, but I think those 2 veterans as well is just going to add. I think it's going to be worth it. Okay. Alright, I'm going to call it there tonight, guys. If you do want to submit your lists for review on the show next week, there isn't any lists in the queue right now, so you can just drop them in a comment on YouTube. I can't tell you exactly what's happening in terms of like where the show is going to go and what's coming up for the future, because where do you submit them? Just on any YouTube. Go into YouTube and go into the comments section on the community tab. So just here, I just put them in a comment here, or whatever community post is the newest community post. I'll probably put up one that's not my COVID test. Someone actually congratulated me, thinking I think they thought this was a pregnancy test, but no, we're not. We're not pregnant. We're COVID positive. That was kind of funny. But yeah, so go ahead and submit your list. And I actually think that I'm going to personally move away from the all melee Blood Angels list, because I think my understanding, I think, of the next few months, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to counter full melee lists. I think Blood Angels are decent as a melee army, but we're not the best. We're not the strongest. And I think that Sisters are going to be right up there at the top. And Sisters are very good at fucking us. They're just about as fast as us with like Zephyrum and Seraphim. Repentia are an absolute nightmare for us to deal with. Repentia can trade super well into just about everything that we have. And we're already seeing some tournaments where Sisters are right up at the top already. So I think based on that, I think I'm going to go back to where I had before, where like I'm including some shooting in my army because I think it's going to be important. So I guess we'll see. It's curious to know what sort of fire support you like the most right now. I probably quite like Las Fusel Eliminators, but I think that there might need to be a return of some Dreadnoughts. You know that. Dreadnoughts are going to suffer into stuff like Tau or Knights or Chaos Knights, but from my understanding, the meta most recently, it looks like Sisters are back big time. And if Sisters are back big time, then the things that they have that counter us are Seraphim, Repentia, to an extent Morgan Val and her stupid bodyguards, the Sacrosancts, and is it Pennington Engines? Are they the ones with the heavy bolters? They're maybe not so much of a threat now with Armor of Contempt, but they were good before because they do 2 damage and they do get like a shitload of heavy bolter shots. I think each squad could get like 36 heavy bolter shots or something. It was kind of obscene. So I guess we'll see if Sisters are back. But it does sound like I saw a couple of tournament results. It looks like Sisters. We might see a swing where I mean, I never thought Sisters were that weak, but they got a bunch of points drops, right? Oh, and their Retributors are borderline disgusting as well. Bloody Rose as well. They have really, really good AP. So into melee against us, we'll be on like -4 power swords. So, I mean, that'll just chop right through us. Anyway, I'm definitely going to try and have some more content out this week, guys. I haven't figured out what that looks like with COVID and stuff, but it does seem like things are getting back to normal. So I will catch you guys, I'm sure, at some point this week. I think I'm going to try and stream a video game at least one night this week. I'm actually off work this week. I got a list of things I want to film for the channel. And I might stream a video game some nights. You know what's good at shooting Sisters? Inceptors. Yeah, I mean, bolter Inceptors, right? But are they because Armor of Contempt? Or you just think Plasma Inceptors but low power? Ugh, I can't get on board with Plasma Inceptors. They're too expensive, man. Yeah, they're too expensive. Bolter Inceptors, I guess, would be fine, but they're only going to be good in turn 2. Yeah. Armor of Contempt doesn't help much against -4. Yeah, I don't have 5 bolter Inceptors. I got 3 of them. I just got the 3 that you got from the Dark Imperium box set. It feels like I need to buy a lot of models at the moment. The meta has changed a lot. I guess we're going to see in the next few weeks what's good at. But maybe we'll try and get Sisters have ways of making you fight last as well. When I used to play against Sisters a lot, they always used to have that stupid fight last. I think it's a Canoness. So she can basically hang around with Morgan Val and all those Sacrosancts. So it's like an unchargeable squad for Blood Angels. Which can pose a huge problem, right? if Morganval can't be charged, because she's pretty fast moving and she can fight twice, and she rerolls all her hits and wounds, I think, when she fights. Space Marine 2.0. You know what? It kind of went radio silent in Space Marine 2.0 for a little while, so I don't know where we are with Space Marine 2.0. I guess we'll see. Anyway, enjoy your evening, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys sometime this week for sure, and I'll let you know about our plan for our Grots channel, because we are thinking of doing a live stream, I think, on Chapter Approved, and if not, then I'll have some content out on that anyway. Probably maybe do some video where I rate the secondaries. Because it does seem like sometimes people get very excited about small changes, and I think, or the wrong sort of changes. Like, I just think Death from Above is like, just doesn't excite me at all, you know that? Whereas like a lot of people are obviously excited about it. Cool. Alright, thanks again for watching. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys some night this week. Peace.